So today for Westchester in the G League, Moses Brown dropped 26 points and 20 rebounds. He had 12 points and 9 rebounds alone in the first quarter. His 10-day contract ran out with the Mavericks, which meant financially they couldn't give him another one. So Westchester ended up picking him back up. And again, he had another dominant game. Brown has been one of the best players in the G League this season. The Knicks currently have an open roster spot. If you look at our center depth, it's pretty good. But on the downside of that, Mitchell Robinson has not been able to stay healthy. Ariel Hukporti's out right now for at least the next month. Precious seems to be out of the rotation, so I think bringing back Brown definitely could benefit the Knicks. And I did pull up his highlights for you guys on the screen right here. He went absolutely off for the Mavs, and he's going out there. He's starting against, I know the Charlotte Hornets aren't the best team in the world, but this is still the NBA because, Brown puts up a big game in the G League, and everyone's like, oh, well, it's the G League. But then he puts up big games in the NBA, and I don't really know the hatred. Like, that's Mark Williams, a very good young center in this league, as good as it gets. And Moses just giving him the business. Spin move, run hook with his lefty off of the backboard, and you can see his rim protection impacts that shot, and then Williams misses the putback. So when you're 7 foot, you're going to be able to contest pretty much every single shot at the rim. And Brown's also going vertical too. He's not just putting his arms up. He's jumped right there. He did, but of course, depending on what the offensive player does, catch it, put it on the dribble, go up with it. That's a tough finish. I think the negative thing that I don't like about Brown is he doesn't have the most quickness. He doesn't move his feet as fast as I'd like. But he's not going to be playing 25 minutes a night for the Knicks. They could bring him in probably 5 to 10 minutes a game to try to get a spark. And I think he definitely could give them valuable minutes, whether it be in the regular season, help push for the playoffs, or even in the playoffs. I was very impressed with Brown and how he performed for the Mavs, going out there and just filling in for the centers that they have injured right now. I mean, if he's able to start and put up those numbers, at the very least, he could come off of the bench and be able to dominate second and third stringers. You look at our roster right now, we've got DeLon Wright, Pacome Dadier, Precious Achiuwa. I like him a lot, but he's not even a part of the rotation. So it's just so important for the Knicks to be able to maximize everything they have for their depth, because this is a team that's 30th in bench scoring. They haven't gotten a lot of high-level production off of their bench. Against Memphis, they outscored them. The bench has been playing better of late, but if you can add in another big who, of course, can just feed off of the dribble drive, penetration, block shots. One thing that Brown does well that you'll see in the clips too is be able to poke the ball free and get into passing lanes too. He's not just a guy that stands under the basket. I don't think he has a jumper. I haven't seen much of him being able to shoot the ball, but to that point, you're not really looking for that. Karl-Anthony Towns is probably the best stretch big in history, either him or Dirk. So you just need a traditional center that can just do a little bit of everything. And nobody down in the G League even stands a chance with his size and skill. For Brown, it's just the fact of when he's gotten to the league, again, on tape, he hasn't played the best. But if anybody could be able to get him going, it would be Tom Thibodeau. We saw Isaiah Hartenstein was sort of an afterthought, of course. I mean, he was a solid rotational player, like solid role player, comes over from the Clippers to the Knicks, signs a 2-year deal, and then ends up getting, about $30 million annually from the Thunder. So if Isaiah is able to do that, I think Tibbs could do the same thing for Brown. It's just going to be, will he get an opportunity? Because the Knicks only have one spot. They could open up another spot if they were to cut DeLon Wright, but I don't know if they're going to do that. I haven't heard anything suggesting that they would. So I think to this point, it's just going to come down to that final spot. Is it going to be Moses Brown? Is it going to be Chuma Okeke? Or is it going to be TJ Warren? But Brown on highlights always looks very, very good. Like if I were to show a Knicks fan who doesn't know who Moses Brown is and be like, this guy's in our G League, he's a younger player, they would be like, call him up right now. Like he looks unstoppable. But it's the film hasn't exactly impressed too many people in the NBA, which is why, he signed a 10-day and didn't get another one. Nobody else called him up. So, I mean, obviously they know something that we don't. But I just think for a team like the Knicks, whose bench has just struggled this season to give them much, I think Brown actually could rebound, block shots, score, and get into passing lanes to sort of create a mismatch. He's definitely going to command double teams as well. I mean, there's been multiple plays in both the NBA and the G League where he has just been, there's 2 or 3 guys around him and he's still able to finish the basketball. All you can do is basically foul him. And I would like to see him play as well with Jalen Brunson too, because we saw Hukporti Porty and Brunson together when he got that star against the Raptors, for example, game on the road. I mean, Porty put up some big time numbers too. And the Knicks have players that as well that will just slow the game down for Brown and make it easy, like Brunson, Hart, Karl Anthony Towns. I don't think they'd play Cat and Brown together. That'd be very interesting, no. But the Knicks do play tonight against the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors played last night, so they're coming off of a back-to-back, so they're not going to be fully rested. The Knicks, of course, had Monday off after beating the Heat Sunday night, that 19-point first-half comeback. That was honestly one of our better wins of the season. I thought OG played his best game of the year, maybe his best game overall as a Knick. The one downside was Mikal Bridges ended up getting benched in that game just because he wasn't playing very well, but Deuce McBride stepped in and was able to will us to a win, and Jalen Brunson down the stretch was phenomenal. The Knicks have played in the third least amount of clutch games this season, yet Jalen Brunson is first in basically every clutch category, including efficiency. He is going to win Clutch Player of the Year. I don't even think it's going to be close. If you look at Vegas right now, they don't have it close as well. It's Brunson, and then it's the world, and then it's Jokic. So Jalen Brunson has just been on a different level this season down the stretch of games, which is huge for the Knicks because, again, a majority of their games don't come down the stretch, but in the playoffs, when games are going to be close and competitive, they know they have a weapon in Brunson. I'm rooting for Cat tonight as well. I did put a bet down for the game. I put the over on Cat's scoring. I know lately Cat hasn't really scored the most amount of points, but I think he gets back on track here against a Warriors team that is very, very small. So Cat will be able to just get to the basket, or he could shoot the three ball. I expect him as well to get a ton of rebounds. His line was so high at 13.5, which is why I didn't take that, because getting 14 rebounds, I mean, Cat can do it. He had 18 last game, but it's just with Josh Hart, I feel like Josh Hart is going to have a lot of rebounds tonight too. But it'll be interesting to see how the Knicks actually go about their rotation. Do we see more Deuce McBride tonight, or does Mikal end up playing his normal minutes? Because you look at the last, 5 of Mikal's last 8 games, he hasn't even played, more than 32 minutes. This was a guy that coming into the month was leading the league in minutes, even ahead of Tyrese Maxey, and now he's slowly but surely kind of getting out of the starting rotation. Mitchell Robinson, it's going to be his 3rd game, of course, since coming back from that ankle surgery. He played against the Grizzlies and then the Heat. I'm definitely excited to see what he has tonight. It's a very good matchup for Knicks centers because the Warriors are just so small. The only big that they carry is Kevon Looney. They like to use Draymond at the 5 a lot. So the Knicks need to exploit that. They definitely need to get inside, not settle for the 3 ball. And also containing Steph Curry, who's playing his best basketball of the year. I mean, Steph just had 57 the other night, went off as well against Philly, and then last night Steph had another good game. I think he had 11 assists or something. So Steph's 37, he's on a back-to-back, so the Knicks got to be physical, got to force him to play defense. Brunson's going to have to outmatch him, outplay him, and attack him, make Steph play defense. OG as well. What does he have in store for us after, again, his best game of the season? He's been a lot more aggressive offensively. And I think that's pretty much everything I'm going to be looking at for tonight's game. Golden State is on a roll right now. I mean, they were the 11th seed when they got Jimmy Butler, and now I believe they're up to the 6th seed. So the Knicks got to win this. I think the last time Golden State came to MSG, they beat us last year, if I remember correctly. So we got to defend our home court. Thursday's at Los Angeles against the Lakers. Friday is at LA against the Clippers, which is obviously on the same court. And then Monday's at Sacramento. So the Knicks are about, and then, oh my God, we have a huge West Coast trip. That's right. Wednesday at Portland, Saturday at Golden State. Huge West Coast road trip coming up.